We welcome you to the Daily Sun Diplomatic Talk. As usual, we have a special guest among us, a very seasoned diplomat, a senior diplomat. She was French ambassador in Kuwait, and now she is here in Dhaka, the ambassador of the Republic of France to Bangladesh, Her Excellency Ms. Marie Mazdupui. Excellency, welcome to our talk.
Thank you very much, Ambassador.
I do not know how I will pronounce in French. Is it "Je vous souhaite la bienvenue"?
That's perfect.
Oh, thank you very much. I understand that you are multilingual. You can speak a number of languages I have seen, including Arabic, probably.
Egyptian Arabic.
Egyptian
Yes.
dialect of Arabic.
Yes, yes.
So, have you picked Bangla as well?
I'm learning Bangla. It's a beautiful language, and it's a language which has some similarities with Persian language.
Yes, we have many Persian
Of
words
course,
in our
because
language.
both come from Sanskrit.
Yes.
So it's fascinating to learn your language.
How can you speak one or two words for our viewer?
Ami Kukushi.
Ami Kukush. Dhonnobad, Excellency. As we were talking about the Bangla language, you probably know that in the 50s there was a language movement in Bangladesh, in fact then East Pakistan, which led to nationalist movement in Bangladesh or then East Pakistan, and eventually we got independence. And as you also mentioned about one or two words in Bangla, do you feel a challenge working here? Because most of our people, they speak in Bangla and very less even in English.
I think many of your people from all sectors of the society do understand English, and some of them master English language. So it's very easy to work with them. And if needed, then trying to engage with some people in Bangla is a challenge for me, but I'm trying to overcome it.
Incidentally, we are not a Francophone country.
Yes, obviously.
But did you find there are people who also speak French here?
Yes, there are many people who speak French, many more than I was expecting, actually, because your history as a part of the British Empire, of course, didn't lead your people to be familiar with French language or French culture. But I was really surprised to meet many people who know some French, who spent quite some time in our Alliance Française, either in Dhaka or Chittagong, enjoying it, enjoying discovering French civilization through our language.
30 years ago, I had a small 3-month course in Alliance Française. I still remember that. But I forgot everything, probably. Excellency, during 1971, during our great Liberation War, we had a great French friend, André Malraux, a great French thinker. And he said during 1973, probably, when he visited Dhaka and also Rajshahi and Chittagong.
Yes.
He said that the 1971 independence movement has some similarity with French Revolution. So I will not go back to that far, but probably you have experienced the recent political change in Bangladesh through a student and mass-led upsurge. Have you seen some similarity with the French Revolution here?
Well, I think, of course, there are similarities. A common aspiration of the people to freedom. That's the main similarity that I would see there. But I hope your people get to build their own democracy faster than the French people did after the revolution. it took us almost 100 years before we got an actual, true democracy. And we went through some interesting experiences of various nature in between, including sometimes not very nice experiences. In the aftermath of the revolution, there was this terror period where people were mob lynched, were hung in the streets. But then some reason prevailed and things got back to normal. And then we got through two empires, the most famous one being the one led by Napoleon Bonaparte, who was also tainted with a lot of blood, although he also brought a few very important things to France, to France's institutions like our law system, our judicial system. He put the bricks of our current system.
So like a foundation.
The foundation. But it went through a lot of bloodshed, and this is something that we would not wish to any other people or country.
I also hope that in Bangladesh, the recent upsurge, that will be considered a foundation for a stronger
Let's hope
democracy.
so. Let's hope so, of course.
Excellency, Paris is considered to be a capital of culture, world culture. I mean, all culture that led to Paris. And I have seen that also in Bangladesh, the French embassy traditionally, you promote art and culture of Bangladesh. So personally, have you also seen that there are brilliance in our art and culture?
I was I was struck after I came here to discover the width of the cultural scene in Bangladesh, not only in Dhaka, in many other of your districts and provinces. There are so many artists, so many poets, so many musicians. So we are very proud and happy to support particularly your young artists. We organize programs to promote them. We encourage them to travel and meet French cultural institutions, French artists. So there is definitely a very cultural touch in your country, which makes a very common thread between us. And of course, France, Paris, capital of culture, and I know, and I'm very happy about this, that the image France has in a country like Bangladesh is very centered around culture, and this is something I'm absolutely proud of. But France is also a center for very highly sophisticated technologies, for innovation, for science, research, and of course also for business. So culture is very important. It is a central part of our own humanity. But France is not only about culture, it's about so many other things.
Excellency, I mean, not all people can travel to Paris to watch, let's say, the Louvre Museum or Museum Orsay or the Louis Vuitton, the new one. But is there any possibility that in near future, someday, the people of Bangladesh can also view some of the master paints of the master painters, maybe the Renaissance painter or the Impressionist painter?
That would be really great, of course. But to achieve this, to get there, you need a proper environment, museographical environment, and still some efforts maybe should be accomplished in your national museums
Have you seen our national museum?
Of course. And there are beautiful pieces of art, beautiful historical pieces. But museography is something very important that should be cultivated. And I think a budget for the Ministry of Culture in your country should come to help to support that effort.
So as you said that you have visited other parts of Bangladesh, I mean, have you visited extensively?
Not enough
Outside Dhaka?
Not enough yet, but I've been to various places. I've been to Chittagong, I've been to Mymensingh, I've been to Shimangal, Sylhet, and in the outskirts of Dhaka also many places. I've been to the river Meghna. I visited quite a number of places, but not every place yet.
Chittagong and Sylhet I can understand because many people usually go there, but how you went to Mymensingh? What prompted you to go there?
It's very easy. It's all again about
I'm from
culture.
Mymensingh, that's why I'm
Oh,
asking.
best people. Actually, it's also about culture. There was in Mymensingh a European art film festival, including a few French films which were presented. So I was invited.
Do you remember the venue, the place name?
Yes, it was in the national. Not there's no Shilpakala, but
there are some palaces, Alexander Castle,
yeah, it was not inside Alexander Castle or Shoshi Lodge, because these places cannot host any venue. Unfortunately, they need extensive renovation. But it was in one of the official theater auditoriums, and it was a very nice event.
Have
and
you seen the Johnul Abedin Art Gallery there?
No,
Uh,
I didn't see it.
It's on the riverside.
Yeah, but I visited Shoshi Lodge.
Shoshi Lodge, yes.
I visited Alexander
Castle.
I inside the Shoshi Lodge, there are a few museum
Sculpture as well.
rooms, pieces, sculpture, old porcelano, old weapons.
Those are some of the
grades.
collection from the early 19th century to late 19th century.
Yes,
somehow.
more or less. And I
Many
also
of those are ruined probably, but
some of them, yeah. But Shoshi Lodge is so beautiful. And I also saw the beheaded Venus of Mymensingh. This is very sad.
Yeah, sure.
Very sad. Especially if it was done for very dark business
That
reasons.
was a very nice piece of
It
sculpture.
was a very nice piece, so it's very unfortunate.
We become old seeing that one, I mean, from our childhood. And have you also seen the rickshaw painting or the pottery, local pottery?
Yes, of course. And there's beautiful pottery, beautiful.
Which place in Bangladesh, you are fond of?
I'm very fond of tea gardens areas
In Sylhet area.
and hilly
Yes.
places. So there are a few ones. I still did not visit the Chittagong Hill Tracts, but I will visit it before I leave your country because it's so beautiful and the nature is so fantastic, and the people also there are very, very interesting, very attractive.
Excellency, France is a world leader in excavation of archaeological sites. I have seen in Egypt, in many other places. Do you have any kind of work in Bangladesh?
Absolutely,
Excavation work?
we do have, and French archaeologists are the only foreign archaeologists digging, excavating
Now
in
Now at
Bangladesh.
present?
Yes,
Yeah. Oh, good.
they are excavating a very large old Buddhist site
Monastery.
in Mahastangar
Master
near
yeah.
Bugura, and it's yet to be fully excavated. They've been working here for about 15 years, and the work is infinite. And it's a joint, of course, excavation with your own archaeologists. And it's a very, very interesting historical site. So we're very happy to be there.
So some of the French giants, like let's say Danone was once here with Grameen Bank, Grameen Shakti. I mean, they produce yogurt, which was very popular among the rural area. Can we expect that there will be some more French giants? Maybe let's say like your famous luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and YSL.
I will be very frank with you. We would love seeing more big French companies and even smaller French companies. Currently, there are 30 to 40 French companies active in Bangladesh. We would love to see more, but you have to remove some hurdles. And I'm thinking particularly about corruption. And French laws, European laws, are extremely, extremely demanding when it comes to fighting corruption. So it's very difficult for our companies to come and do business normally. So please remove these very, very regrettable hurdles, and then you will see a flurry of French.
Okay, Excellency, this is not for my viewers, but let's say, as you mentioned about corruption, did you mention exactly this one or pinpoint this one when you talk with our government?
Of course. This is
The relevant agency. Yeah.
on the top of the agenda. I mentioned it with Honorable Chief Advisor, with all the advisors I met, because unfortunately it's an issue which is spreading around in all sectors of the society. So it's a real issue that we have to confront, to face. And we have been offering some cooperation to fight with legal blocks.
So when you are saying that, are you also suggesting that I mean, if there is no corruption and if there is a rule of law, then we can also expect that there will be more French investment in Bangladesh?
Definitely, because your country is important. Your country has a very strategic position in South Asia, in Asia. Your population is an important population. The weight and also the local culture is very welcoming to foreigners in general. So there should be no reason why foreign companies would not come and would not invest in your country, which is very promising. Just remove the hurdles.
I expect that these people will also listen to you, and then we all will put some effort to remove all those bottlenecks so that we can welcome.
We are quite aware that you cannot remove these bottlenecks, these hurdles in one day.
Yeah,
there is no magic stick, obviously. It will take some time, and the commitment is there with the current authorities. So we hope for the best.
So apart from, let's say, trade or French investment, what are the other areas of bilateral cooperation between France and Bangladesh that you think more important?
Yes, well, I would say that our education, scientific cooperation is going up. So exchange of scholars and discovering some areas of research that we should jointly pursue, and also on some global issues like public health, like climate change. We have definitely common interest to work together in some multilateral fora within the UN system and in ad hoc forums as well, because Bangladesh and France are two champions in terms of climate change and fighting against climate change. So there are many areas of cooperation that we're also exploring, apart from the ones we mentioned before.
One of the French NGO was a very early activists in the hill tracts region, particularly they were assisting the refugees from Myanmar, the Rohingya refugees from Myanmar, even from the 90s. Do you still, look at that issue in the humanitarian?
Yes, of course. And in general, in Bangladesh, we have quite a very good number of French NGOs working in different areas, different sectors.
Doctors Without Borders and others.
Yes, Doctors Without Borders, Action contre la faim, Action Against Hunger, many different in handicap, supporting people with disabled people, many areas. And of course, quite a good part of those NGOs work inside the Rohingya camps to support the humanitarian efforts there, but they are also active in other parts of the country to train people, to fight poverty, to provide better healthcare, health assistance. So there are quite a good number of French NGOs in your country.
If you allow me to ask, apart from, let's say, the humanitarian aspect, do you also see that there are other major aspects of that refugee crisis in Myanmar or the spillover effect in Bangladesh? Do you see there could be a political or a geostrategic?
Obviously, the roots of the problem is purely political. And there is an overall political crisis in your neighboring country, Myanmar, of which the Rohingya humanitarian plea is only one aspect. There are many other problems with that country and the regime which is in power now. But as Bangladesh, you've been hosting those very
large number of refugees. Yes.
Yeah, very difficult living Rohingya refugees, and they have to be supported from a humanitarian point of view, in addition to you hosting them very generously. So we're trying to do that, and we hope that the upcoming international conference, which has been proposed, initiated by Dr. Yunus, will bring some good perspectives.
We hope so, yeah. And Excellency, have you noticed that in Dhaka or in Bangladesh, there are now many supporter or fan of French football team?
Yes.
And also even La Liga.
I noticed. I'm very happy about
sorry,
that.
You call it Ligue 1.
Ligue 1. La Ligue 1. I noticed, and I think it's a good thing because, of course, Bangladesh is more a cricket nation than a football nation. But there's space
but we
also
were a
for
football nation once.
I heard that. But I think sport has to be made more and more popular because there's no proper development, human development, without sports, without arts. That's what I deeply think.
So, have you experienced any Bangladeshi cuisine?
Of course.
Or can you
Many
mention
times.
one or two?
Singara.
Okay.
Yes, and your
But let's say-
biryani.
biryani.
Your biryani
That's for the
is
main dish.
fantastic. Yeah, your biryani is fantastic.
Have you attended any marriage ceremony here?
Yes, I did. Yes, it's very beautiful, very full of colors and music. And
So let's say when you will go back to your own country, what you will take from Bangladesh? Experience-wise or memory-wise?
I've been cruising also on some of your rivers, and I find it absolutely fantastic to see your country from the river.
During monsoon?
No, not during monsoon.
During
The dry season.
But probably
The landscape is so incredibly beautiful. So I will keep this in my mind.
Probably the beauty of rivers and amplifies during monsoon.
That's true. That's true. I will try during monsoon too.
And Excellency, before we conclude, do you have any other, let's say, comment or any remark on Bangladesh for our viewers?
Well, you have a beautiful country, and everybody wants to
Beautiful
take
country in terms of landscape.
landscape, also natural resources, and also
People.
the will of the people to always constantly progress and achieve new goals and challenging new goals. Your people are very entrepreneurial. They don't spare any effort to achieve their goals. And they are also very family oriented, which is something I find very beautiful. The values of family are really deeply anchored in your culture. So my remark would be to protect and cherish your culture, your heritage, and go further to modern Bangladesh to improve the society, improve the economy, and interact with the rest of the world as a very strong nation.
Thank you, Excellency.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Eloquently, you spoke very well about Bangladesh. I thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dear viewers, we heard very frank talks with French Ambassador, Her Excellency Ms. Marie Masdupui. She was eloquent, she was very frank, she was cordial. At the same time, she mentioned about the inner strength of Bangladesh and Bangladeshi people, and she expects that Bangladesh will become a prosperous country. And at the end, I also say that long live French-Bangladesh relationship. Thank you, viewers.